Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I decided that I wanted to come on here and do a quick makeup look while I talked a little bit about my pageant experience and how much it has shaped me. So if you don't know, I recently competed in Miss Ohio USA 2025 and I did not place, but it was actually a really fun experience. I'm using Morph Continuous Prep Setting Spray. It's like a primer and a setting spray at the same time. So the whole experience was fun, but the next thing that I'm going to use is this Tarte Double Duty Beauty Primer. So I actually started competing in pageants in 2017, I believe, for Miss Ohio Teen 2017. And it honestly sparked such an interest in me. From there, I competed in various small pageants here and there around the state of Ohio. I'm using Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte in 440. But although I have competed in like little small pageants around Ohio, the one pageant that I always come back to is Miss Ohio USA. I just feel like everybody sort of has their pageant home, and that one is definitely mine. So, in terms of my experience, I will say, although I have been competing since I was 17 and I'm now 26, I haven't really prepped as good as I probably could have in those times. Nonetheless, I have placed, I think, twice. Or 3 times. I placed at Miss Ohio USA 2022, I believe. And then Miss Kentucky USA 2024. So twice. And throughout my experience, I've always gotten like feedback that I was so close to placing. Like one pageant that I did was a preliminary pageant. And they're saying I was like the 7th place out of a pageant that crowned 6 queens. And it was an experience for sure. But nonetheless, I think pageants are really fun. I think the thing that I like most about pageants is the fact that you are working on yourself and you're continuously growing. So life in general, I think, is a journey. But whenever you add pageants to the mix, you want to be the very best. And so you work on being well spoken, you work on your walk, you work on your presentation and how you look. And I think that's the cool part about it. Like, I will say I definitely am not the same person that I was when I started pageants. I will say doing my makeup is kind of hard because I still haven't unpacked my makeup from the pageant experience. So I'm working out of my makeup bags. But yeah, so let me just talk a little bit about the pageant in general. So this year was actually like a really tough year for me. Not more so because of the pageant in general, but in general, I didn't prep as much as I should have because I didn't think I was going to compete this year. I have a wedding in October and I was fully set on not competing, just focusing on that, but I caved and went for it. And then another reason why it was semi-hard for me this year was literally the day before the pageant, I got food poisoning and I like threw up. And it was a lot. TMI, but it was a lot. So going into the pageant, I was already like, I have cards stacked against me and I have to sort of act like I'm at my very best when I'm not. And that was overwhelming. So first thing about the pageant is you go to orientation. So orientation is either on the morning of or the night before. And you go there, you get fitted for your sash. You talk to some girls. You gain information about the sponsors. Maybe you buy a program book and you take pictures. It's really fun. It's not stressful. And it's very straightforward. So this year, I went to orientation the night before for the first time. Because usually I just do, not orientation, oh my gosh, registration. Let me start over. So orientation happens like a month before the pageant or so, where you gain just a whole bunch of information about the pageant and you learn about program books, you learn about People's Choice, fan favorite, and about like buying pictures and stuff. So it's very informational. Registration is where you do the whole buying photos thing, getting fitted for your sash, and the like. And so, yeah, I did registration for the first time the day before, and that was really good just because I could get acclimated and get situated in my hotel without being stressed, and I could also come to the pageant a little bit later than if I were to do orientation the day of. And so pageant day starts off very strong, or preliminary day. We start off by getting in, putting all your stuff away, and then the misses go straight to rehearsal. We go straight to rehearsal and we learn all about the walking patterns and what is expected of us. I love rehearsal just because it's really fun. You get to see a lot of people's personality. You get to see how people walk and everything. And you get to practice what you want to do when you eventually get on stage. And then Mrs., we had our interview in the afternoon. And so the teens have their schedules flipped. So they had interview in the morning and then rehearsal in the afternoon. So fast forward to interview. At least for this year, I will say I did not do good, obviously. I did not place, but I know for a fact I didn't do good. And after my interview, I was just like, yeah, I'm not placing. And this is just gonna be a fun weekend for me. So interview is a 2-minute panel where you sort of talk to the judges about what's on your judge's profile and they get to know you a little bit more. It should be very stress-free. I am somebody who has anxiety. So it's not necessarily stress-free for me. But anyway, on top of my anxiety this year, I had, like I mentioned, the food poisoning. And so I was already in my head, I was in my stomach, and in general, not having a good time. And so for me, I knew I didn't place because although I answered my questions well, I said 3 times and I said sorry once. So if you know anything about pageants, filler words and the like are just not gonna get you where you need to be for an interview score. And with Miss USA and their preliminaries, like Miss Ohio USA, interview is 50% of the score. So I was just like, I bombed that, and lo and behold, I am not going to place. But yeah, like usually after interview, whenever you do good, like you feel calm and you sort of feel like if you don't know if you did well or not, you just know that you answered the questions and the judges heard you. But this year I was just like, oh. So anyway, after that, after preliminary interview, we have preliminary night, and that has opening number where we introduce ourselves. That has I used the Fenty Beauty concealer, by the way, and a NARS concealer for my eyebrows, and then I used NARS for my eyebrows and a Morphe gel. And so opening number, we're introducing ourselves, and then I'm using Makeup Revolution translucent baking powder to set my face. And then we go into swimsuit, which is really fun. Then we do gown, which is really fun. And then the night is done and they tally up the scores. So anyway, this year, also, I think another reason why I was just like, I'm not going to place. So I wore a really long, beautiful gown from Jorgito Salazar. And the gown was gorgeous. But I just did not have control over it while I was walking. And I tripped on the gown during my gown preliminary competition. So that was another thing that caused me to be like, this is not my year. I don't even know how to further explain it. Like, that was just like, oop, it's not my year. Whereas like whenever I did Miss Kentucky the year prior in the same gown, like it was tea, like it was so good. But yeah, so after gown, we all come back for final look and the night ends. Then final competition, they announce top whatever, top 12, top 10, top 15. This year, I believe it was top 12. And then they get to compete in swimsuit and evening gown again. And so, like I spoiled earlier in this video, I did not place this year, so I didn't get to do that. I was just backstage having fun. And honestly, when I didn't hear my name being called, like I didn't like cry or like feel anything. I honestly was just like, ooh girl, we knew it. And honestly, I could have packed it up when I had my food poisoning, you know what I mean? Like I could have just packed it up, like, ooh, this is not my weekend. But that I experienced something similar the year prior, because not only did I want to compete for Miss Kentucky USA, but I wanted to compete for Miss Ohio USA at the same time, because I worked in Kentucky, lived in Ohio, and it lined up perfectly. But I just wasn't feeling well. So I competed in Kentucky, but I did not compete in Ohio, even though I had already paid for everything and it was a lot. But yeah, I definitely could have probably packed it up this year, but I was just like, let me live it out, and every year just add on to the experience that you have for whenever it is potentially your year. So yeah. I competed and that was that. The person who ended up winning Miss Ohio USA 2025, her name is Hannah. I actually competed with her in Miss Kentucky USA last year. She's really nice and I'm really proud of her. And I'm excited to see how she is at Miss USA. Last year I did not watch Miss USA or Miss Universe, which is really weird for me in particular. I just wasn't feeling it. Fenty Beauty, Summertime Wine. I just wasn't feeling it just because I had missed Miss Ohio USA prior. But I decided to watch Proc Prod as they compete. and see like what happens with them, because they placed really high last year. But yeah, like this year was fun. It honestly was really fun. I got what I needed out of it, which was just more experience. And I didn't cry just because I knew what was happening. And also I felt sort of relieved because I have a wedding in October. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this or that. If potentially anything happens, a big if, you know, and Miss USA dates still aren't announced. So, yeah. I'm using Jackie Aina's Artist Couture highlighter. This was just a quick look that I'm doing because I am going to my night job. Not night job, I'm going to my second shift job. I'm a bartender in the night. Therapist by day, bartender at night. And sometimes you just want to look pretty. But yeah, so for next year, I definitely plan on competing. I think I'm just gonna compete until I am tired of it, or like I have like kids that are taking up my time and I can't do it anymore. Not that that's a deterrent anymore, because women with children are allowed, but I just know that children are also a handful. So that will definitely factor into the equation. But yeah, I plan on competing next year. I already have my dress lined up. I already have, and this is crazy because it's literally been like 2 weeks since the pageant ended. I already have my either two options are my interview outfit lined up, and I already have an idea of my training schedule that I want to engage in to make sure that I actually place and do well. I also have an idea of who I want to be my coaches for this year. So it all will work out perfectly, I believe. And then I just used the Soft Glam Anastasia Beverly Hills palette for my eyes. And I'm using the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal for my eyelashes. gosh. So I got a new puppy, and he is fighting with my Pomeranian. I don't even know if you guys can hear that. They're like growling, like play fighting, but still. But yeah, like right now, I'm just focusing on selling my old pageant things just because I really don't need them anymore, and I need the money for my new pageant experience. I'm lining with Makeup Forever's Artist Color Pencil Extreme in the color Dimensional Dark Brown. Carmex. About Face Blurred Matte Lip in, is it Lip Plump? Is that the color? Or Croquet? Croquet. The Lip Plump is the product. Croquet. It's cute. Dimensional. And then I'm going to give my Fenty Beauty Hot Chocolate some love. Lip gloss. Just because I feel like it makes editing pop. And I go to work, but honestly, I don't bring my lip gloss with me. I have a work bag lip gloss that I use that's like off-brand, just because I don't want to bring that. So I'm going to set my face with Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And an Urban Decay All Nighter Extra Glow. Whenever I do my pageants, I set it with the Morphe as well, but we're not doing pageants right now, we're just working. This is the hair look today. It's half up, half down. But yeah, I definitely want to do YouTube a little bit more and document my life. I think it would be really fun just to talk to you guys and do a little bit of like makeup looks and tutorials, talk about books, crocheting, and all of my other loves. So please feel free to leave a comment down below about what you would like to see on my YouTube channel, and I will talk to you later. And I apologize right now, but I'm not going to edit this video. So there will be a lot of ums, and you will hear my yelling of my dog, my yelling at my dog. But I think editing has been a deterrent in me being consistent on my YouTube channel. So I think I'm just going to try to work on filming straight through and being concise, being to the point, and putting my intro and outro on there and calling it a day. So let me know how you like that. I feel like it just goes back to OG YouTube where everybody was just filming themselves doing whatever. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.